Hey, Dylan.
90 minutes.
Hey, you picked this one. This is on you.
Hey, Matt. This thing that we watched was 90 minutes. And not like it's listed as 90 minutes, but like there's like commercial breaks and shit. Nah, man. This was like 93 minutes, and it was every bit of that 93 minutes.
So I felt, here was my viewing experience.
Yeah.
First thing I noticed, 1996, and I thought, oh no.
Yeah.
Because I really thought oh, is this like the 60s Munsters? Like,
yeah, so for anybody that didn't pay attention to the title, today we're talking about the Munsters' Scary Little Christmas, which was the second time in the 90s, I believe, that they tried to bring the Munsters back.
And we'll talk about this in a second, but yeah. I hit play, and actually, first minute, I'm like, maybe this won't be so bad. I'm hearing this like kind of like punk rock cover of the Munsters theme, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. The carolers are there. I'm like, this is sweet. The second that they do the James Brown bit, I was like, this is going to be an excruciating 90-minute watch.
Dude, I will have you know that they did the James Brown bit. I legit, this is not a work, 100% shoot. I was like, how much longer do we have? I hit the thing and I'm like, okay, we're 6 minutes in.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, you're like, this is
fucking awful.
It's
and
so funny because you wrote a Facebook status that matched my notes. Was anybody who shit on that Rob Zombie movie, watch this.
That's it.
This is how good you can, because this isn't even close. Like, at least the Rob Zombie movie, they like tried to make the characters look like the 60s counterparts. Like, what is with Grandpa? Grandpa's like 80 pounds wet. Like, it's so weird.
Grandpa is super skinny with just like a witch nose poorly glued to his face.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, this is such a piece of shit. Like,
yeah. It's the whole thing so bad.
It ain't your mother's Munsters, I'll tell you that much, because it is also the horniest thing I've ever seen.
Dear Lord, is it? So here's the thing that I'll tell you, is that like when I wrote down, one of the notes that I wrote down was basically saying like, if you were to ask me who I prefer from the original like 60s run, I would go Munsters over the Addams Family every single time.
Same.
Once you hit the 90s, though, the 90s and beyond, that is Addams Family territory.
100%.
Like the Addams Family knew how to maneuver themselves into the 90s, where like the Munsters, try as they may, many a times during our childhood, could never really get their footing on like what made that work. And I know you're coming fresh off of doing Addams Family. Congratulations on a perfect sold-out run of that show.
Yeah, man. Great show.
But I remember listening to the Munsters Go Home DVD commentary track, because that's the type of man I am. And they have the actor who played the son on the Munsters. And he said,
like the original.
The original. And it's him and Rob Zombie are the commentary. It's like the two of them like shooting the shit.
And which one's the Munsters Go Home?
It's the first Munsters movie from like 1966. Okay. So it's the one where they're on like a cruise ship, and like they literally just recreate like iconic episode moments, because they Dracula gets built again, and like it's a bunch of different stuff. But he said, people always ask me what the difference is between the Addams Family and the Munsters, and the way he sums it up is so perfect, which is that the Munsters are monsters who think that they're regular people, and the Addams Family are regular people who think that they're monsters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that really does like crack the code. And he goes like he's like, the Munsters are trying to live an everyday traditional lifestyle despite being monsters. The Addams Family think that their way of life is the everyday tradition.
Yes.
So, you know what I mean? Like, it's like that it's a fine line. And I think that in the 60s, the Munsters thing worked better to me of like these kind of cool looking Frankenstein and vampires that just like want to live a happy life and just like do their thing, do their monster thing. But in the 90s, the Addams Family just like thinking that murder and mutilation is like the norm just fit in with that 90s aesthetic so perfectly.
Well, it's like I think we are not going to sit here and keep talking about the Rob Zombie remake, but I think the thing that he did perfect was he didn't make the movie set at Mockingbird Lane. Like, I think, dude, you cannot sustain 90 minutes of people just being scared of these monsters.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. You can't. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, it looks like these people have, especially in the movie that we watched, that the people have lived there for at least a few months.
Yeah.
And you're telling me no one has gotten used to them just living there? Especially because they're not fucking dickheads. Like, I mean, it's like, listen, I understand they look different, but like they're treating the Munsters like fucking assholes the entire time. And they have definitely been living here for a chunk of change, right?
A chunk of change. You've got their next door neighbor, Miss Dimwitty.
Yeah. Is that Edna? I think
Edna Dimwitty, who like might genuinely be the most successful person in this movie because she was in like all of those Roger Corman movies before this and became like a cult legend.
Well, the kid is played by
Alfalfa. Yeah. And this stalled out Alfalfa, I'm pretty sure, because I have not seen Bug Hall in a very long ass time. But
nope.
But like probably one of the only genuine laughs that came out of me. And at this point, it's an hour into the movie, so I may have just been looking for anything to grab a hold of. But there's a point where Miss Edna Dimwitty is trying to destroy their Christmas decorations, which are basically just Halloween decorations.
Yes.
And it's between her house and their house, and she thinks that it is like the most insulting thing that this like Halloween decored house might beat her house for best Christmas decorations.
When this is something that in today's world, we'll see houses like this all the time.
All the time. But in doing so, she falls into a giant fake fly, a spider web.
Oh, is it the help me bit?
And she starts yelling, "Help me," exactly like the fly in the original 50s Fly. And I was just so desperate for anything to put a smile on my face that it's the thing. It's from the thing.
You're the Leonardo DiCaprio meme from Wolf of Wall Street.
I know that. I know that.
I know that bit.
So this is, rarely do we do this, but the Wikipedia page is so concise.
Yeah.
That we're just going to use that as our as to fill the audience in, because boy, do you not need to spend the $3.99 on this. This is not.
It's also, I believe it's available for free on Apple TV.
Oh, that didn't
Unless
show up when I
own it.
That did not. That did not show up when I searched for ways to watch this movie. So
I own some weird off the wall shit digitally because like I inherited a friend of mine's like Voodoo account, and when I ended up hooking that to other means of streaming, like it just filled out different libraries.
Yeah.
So it is totally possible that this came from that library. But no, I definitely agree. Unless it is free and you fucking love the Munsters, and I don't mean just like, hey, I enjoy the Munsters.
No, you have to be like, I am a completionist of the Munsters.
Yeah, and even then I'd be like, watching it like 2 times the speed.
Yeah. So here's the entire plot is summed up in a paragraph on the Wikipedia. Yeah. So I'm just going to read this paragraph, and then we can pick apart certain elements of it, because God knows you and I want to talk about at least one thing. So the movie begins with the son Eddie feeling homesick for Transylvania. Herman decides a good old-fashioned Transylvania Christmas is what his troubled son needs to get into the mood for the holidays. Together with the family, including Lily, Grandpa, and Maryland, he sends out invitations to the entire Munster family that includes Wolfman, Mummy, and the Gillman. Herman also asks for a raise from his boss, but is then fired, taking on other jobs such as modeling nude for an art class, donating blood, and wrapping Christmas gifts. Meanwhile, on Christmas Eve's Eve, one of Grandpa's experiments goes haywire and accidentally transports Santa Claus and his elves to the Munster Manor. Christmas faces ruin as there is no way to send Santa home, and the entire family must find a way to save Christmas. Meanwhile, Marilyn falls in love and Lily enters a home decorating contest with the nosy neighbor Edna Dimwitty causing trouble. Eddie also faces trouble from school with bullies.
In one scene.
Yeah, in one singular scene.
In one, like, 10-second scene.
No resolution,
Eddie Munster
really.
Comes to face with some bullies that, like, they act like are going to be a huge part of this thing, and they're not. And I will say, not the worst bullies in the world, because I don't know if you wrote this down, but when they find Eddie's letter to Santa, in most movies that we watch, the bully would be like, "You fucking prick, there's no Santa Claus." But no, his response is, "Hey, Santa doesn't visit weirdos like you." So I'm like, you know what? Hey, props to that bully for keeping believing alive.
Great. Great.
Hey man, we gotta start with a little bit of positivity.
Hey, do you want to hear something horrifying that I just happened to click into?
Oh God, no. Yeah, go for it.
Hey, you know those horny elves that we're going to talk about?
Are they dead?
Larry and Lefty? No.
Yeah.
No. I really wish that one of them was. So,
no.
Ed Gale, who played Larry, he's had quite a career. He was Chucky. He was Howard the Duck. He played one of the Dinks in Spaceballs. You know, he's appeared in a lot of stuff.
Oh, no!
Do you see it? I saw the legal issues thing, and I said, oh, what's this about? And apparently, in April of this year, he was accused by an online predator hunter group going by the name Creepy Catchers Unit of attempting to solicit sex from multiple minors. So that's under investigation.
I feel like I should have did some research before I suggested this.
Yeah,
because,
you just went right into, you said, hey, let's do Munsters Scary Little Christmas. It's only a 90-minute trash fest.
My thought process was this. Okay, my thought process was this. I was like, I need a Halloween pick. Okay. And I'm like, we're just getting done the Addams Family.
I already knew that this was where your head was at.
I was like, what is like something adjacent I can do? Like that we could do. That would be a fun watch. Because you and I both like dumb shit like this. I don't know
shocked
about
that
you.
there's not an Addams Family Christmas special.
Yeah, but I fucking loved when they brought the Addams Family back for like a season of some like late 90s show. I don't know if you remember that. For ABC Family or Fox Family at the time. So I was like, fuck yeah, we'll watch this dumb shit because I'm sure it's in the same vein. And then like the horny elves showed up. And I texted you that.
Yep. No, I got that text message when I woke up this morning, and I said, "Yeah, he is. He's watching it."
It's really unfortunate that I feel like a lot of our conversation is going to be dominated by these horny elves. But Ed Gale specifically, fuck you.
Yep.
Like let's get that out of the way. We are going to be making some jokes about these horny elves, but fuck this guy, and I hope some terrible shit happens to you.
I wanna just real quickly mention, Dylan, that
what's the other one do? What did
No. I was gonna say Addams Family Season 2, Episode 15, Christmas with the Addams Family was free on Pluto TV, and we could have just knocked that 22-minute thing out.
Listen, Matt Kelly, you knew where my head was when I picked this, so you could have always just been like, you know, there's also like an Addams Family.
Listen to this delightful plot line real quick. When Wednesday and Pugsley's faith in Santa Claus is shaken, Uncle Fester is chosen to be a backup Santa Claus. However, when Fester Santa gets stuck in the chimney, it's up to all the other adults to substitute for him. And then I found this picture that's every member of the Addams Family, Lurch, Thing, etc., all dressed like Santa Claus.
Okay, can you do me Can you do me a favor and send me that picture? First off. And number two, this is like 30 minutes long, right? Like 30 minutes. Maybe even 15.
Yeah.
Give or take commercials. Cool. I'm really glad that I spent some time last night watching this. I'm pretty fucking stoked about it, actually. You know, between the fucking James Brown reference, the fact that, like, this thing, we get to the ending-ish, and Eddie fucking says he's talking to the Santa Claus fruitcake, because Santa does get turned into a fruitcake in this disgusting fruit cake
with a little Santa hat on the top of it.
91 Donkey Lane is a magical apartment complex that contains immense power, but lacks intelligent inhabitants.
What is happening?
I'm getting texts.
Why are we getting a lot of texts?
People found out what we did.
Oh, dividing Mike Myers into an infinite amount of tiny Mike Myers?
Listen to 91 Donkey Lane for free on Spotify or your favorite podcasting app. More at 91donkeylane.com. See you there, you donkeys.
I did have to smile when she's trying to change him back, and there was just the pumpkin with just a beard dangling from it. I'm like, all right, that's a pretty good gag.
That one. Then she turns him into a jack-o'-lantern, and she just goes, "No, I can't even get the holidays right." Like, okay. All right, I will say
I can't even decide if that's a good joke or if at the hour and 20-minute mark you're just so desperate for any moment of joy that you're like, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I will say, out of all of them, Lily Munster is probably my favorite.
No, Lily Munster is the only one that's... I do not buy Alfalfa as Eddie Munster for like a single second in this.
Oh, but that's where I was going. Hold on. So Eddie looks at the fucking elves or at the fruitcake Santa. I can't remember. I know I watched this between last night and this morning, but who the fuck cares? He looks at them and goes, before you guys showed up, I didn't really care about Christmas. Bullshit!
Yeah.
The entire fucking plot line is you're sad about missing Transylvanian Christmas. It's the one thing you do give a fuck about.
Yeah, you even had Spot destroy your letter to Santa in an act of I've given up on Christmas.
Yeah. What do you mean you didn't care about Christmas until he showed up? That's the whole point of this. We could have had a normal fucking Christmas if you didn't care about Christmas.
Yeah. No, it's
This is so bad.
It's really bad. And
it's very 90s. Like I said, and 90s in a bad way. Like everyone
90s in a terrible way.
So horny.
Well, I want you to know that as you stayed awake late watching this, I had a group of friends over.
Yeah.
Because it is Halloween time. And we were watching...
Yeah. And it's First Friday, so it's weird movie night.
Yeah,
right?
so we were watching the Out There Halloween mega tape and pointing out whenever you showed up on camera, we were all like, hey, it's Dylan, look at him. Look at him in that tracksuit.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
And we thought, man, if only he was here. Not watching Munsters' Scary Little Christmas.
Well, I'm assuming while you guys were watching,
you were on stage killing it.
I was probably still on stage. But yeah, getting home at midnight and being like, well, let me throw this Munsters thing on. It can't be that fucking bad.
Can't be that bad, can't be that long. Boy, were you wrong on both accounts.
Oh my God. So, like, what the fuck else happened on this thing? We got Marilyn Munster.
Yeah.
Played by Elaine Hendricks. I think she's the mean wife in
Romeo and Michelle. Oh, yeah, she's the mean wife and she's also in Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion, but I don't remember her character.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she's just one of the like mean girls from high school as well.
She's cool.
There's
a weird love interest portion of this.
There's
really miscast sexy biker guy.
Sexy biker guy again, like for this movie being so 90s, you've got like a 1950s greaser as the love interest, and it just feels so weird. But nothing feels weirder than, I mean, we talked about the horny elves. The horny elves have nothing on the S&M bondage that we get at the end of this movie.
Oh, the reindeer.
When Santa's sleigh is not pulled by reindeer, but 8 bikers. And you're just like, what is happening? It's just dudes in leather, and they have the fucking pieces in their mouth like they're reindeer.
Listen, it would have made it a little better if they all like were on their motorcycles. And
but some aren't.
Yeah. So listen, here's how you could have done this, not in the way that they did. Put them on the motorcycles, hook the reins to the motorcycles, and just have them be like, yeah, Santa, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
But like instead, it is exactly how Matt is describing the like there's bars like in their mouth. They're like, their arms are like like doing that stupid dangly thing, like when people like play as animals. God, it's so weird. It's so weird. There's no way anyone saw this at the time and was like, Maybe we should do something a little different.
I if you could, like, if you edit this down to like a 20-minute special of just the absolute weirdest parts, like literally just make it that Grandpa accidentally blasts Santa Claus to Munster Mansion and they've got to fix it, right? Like, give me that 20-minute episode. I still think it's bad, but it's like in that weird, so bizarre, it's enjoyable thing where I'd be like, dude, you gotta fucking see this shit. Like, this is like insane. But it's like you are really sitting through an excruciating hour and a half for like 2 jokes that work and like 3 or 4 things that you will never forget because of how weird it is.
So fucking odd. Dude, there was a moment where I thought they killed Grandpa.
Oh, I mean,
like I thought Grandpa was fucking dead.
Yeah. No, it is a nightmare special. It is one of the most insane things I've ever watched. And like to go back to the James Brown thing, I know that we've basically just been bouncing between like 2 or 3 plot points. That's all that this movie really has.
Dude, this movie is like just bits.
Yeah.
Like it's just like bits after bits after bits. And you forget what this movie is about.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what is the fucking plot here?
Yeah, there's like, no point to anything that's happening.
It started with like Eddie being upset about not being in Transylvania for Christmas. Then it goes to they're trying to make him happy and Grandpa accidentally pulls Santa to the manor. There's just some wild shit happening during this. There's also the decorating contest that you brought up earlier. There is so much, but there's so much and it's so fucking boring.
It goes nowhere. It's so pointless. Like they are making this house decorating contest. Like this should be 2 scenes. You know what I mean? Like you find out that they're in the contest and then they win the contest and woman is upset. There is like 9 different scenes of just the judges being really torn between the 2 homes. Like it's so unnecessary, but I think that that's the problem. I want to bring it back to the James Brown bit.
Okay.
Because I think the James Brown bit says a lot about everything.
Yes.
I don't think that they had enough script for the runtime because like that James Brown bit starts off with he opens the door after they finish singing a carol and they all go, ah! And he goes, oh, we're doing the James Brown remix. That's the end of the joke. It's a bad joke, but that's the end of the joke.
Yeah.
Then he proceeds to do a James Brown impression for like 30 seconds.
A really bad one.
And then it cuts back to the carolers, and they scream and run away, and he's still doing like some James Brown noises as he walks into the kitchen for the next scene, and it's like, you just took a bad 5-second joke and turned it into a 2-minute scene that I think it was just because you need it to fill space to get to the hour-and-a-half runtime that you signed up for.
Which also, let's point out that this movie was made in 96.
Yeah.
Like James Brown, like his biggest years were in the 60s and 70s.
And in a brief moment with Rocky IV, like he got like a very small return.
Like, could you imagine watching a movie now, like a movie that was being serious, that was like referencing something from 30 years ago, and we're just supposed to go like, yeah, no, I get that thing. Like, what the fuck is happening?
It's insane.
This should not exist.
It shouldn't exist. It's not great.
It's not great. Yeah, there we go. It's not great.
It's not great.
Put that on the new, like, the 4K release. It's not great.
So there was Munsters Today, which somehow ran for 3 seasons.
Good
from
Lord.
1988 to 1991. Who was the cast in that? Oof, these look bad too. Like, I just can't wrap my head around anything that we witnessed.
Yeah. I'm still stuck. Why is everyone still fucking scared of these people?
Yeah. They seem very nice. Obnoxious, but very nice.
Yeah. And like the police officer that runs, you're telling me that police officer's never met Herman Munster?
Never.
Like, what?
like here's the thing that's confusing me so badly on this is that I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling here. And what I'm hoping to see is that there was a Munsters show in 1996 and I'm finding nothing. So this was just a random one-off decision where guys were like, hey, I think the world's ready for a new Munsters movie. Like,
dude, that's like seriously. That's what's so fucking strange about the Munsters.
This Wikipedia page is barren. Like it is.
I feel like every 10 years we're like, let's try the Munsters again. Like if you just look at this Wikipedia page, every 10 years we have rebooted the Munsters. 66, Munsters Go Home. 73, The Mini Munsters. 81, The Munsters Revenge. Here Come the Munsters in 95, but we're going to try again quicker in 96 with The Munsters Christmas. Oh, okay. So in between those two, we're going to do The Munsters Today, right? Then we're going to do Mockingbird Lane, okay? Then, you know what? Rob Zombie wants to do The Munsters. Why are we doing this?
All right. Here Come the Monsters came out in 1995.
Yeah, and it has a different cast.
Right? It has a different cast. They were going to reuse that cast, and Edward Herrmann, so Daddy Gilmore, was playing Herman Munster.
Which I didn't see. I've never seen Here Come the Munsters, but I could see that.
And he asked for a slight raise to do the sequel, and the producers decided to give him the raise.
Oh, okay.
They were going to reduce the salary of everybody else. So then all of them decided, nah, we're good. We're not going to do this if this is how cheap you're going to be.
So hold on. Was Edward Herrmann also with them? Was he like, nah, man, you don't need to do. Yeah, I'm not doing this if you're gonna produce. Or was he like, yeah, fuck them?
Yeah, I mean, he's not here as Herman, so I guess so.
That's true.
I guess he packed it up and left. But like,
good for you, Edward.
Well,
that's
because
why they're king of the vampires.
I mean, the flip side is also like, let me see, Edward Herrmann in 1995, I'm pretty sure was doing all right for himself. So like, I'm sure in a certain lens, this was a huge step down for him to like do another Munsters movie. And they were like, yeah, he just was in Nixon. Like,
yeah,
he's in like an Academy Award winning movie. And he was like, listen, man, like I'm thinking maybe to do this.
Academy Award winner.
Yeah.
Edward Herrmann in Here Comes the Munsters.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's like, I understand him maybe wanting a little bit more money because he's like really degrading himself for this.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, Dylan, I feel like we've exhausted everything that we could possibly say about this.
I don't know, man. I do want to talk just for a second.
Okay.
The DVD cover makes this look so much better than it is, though.
Well, it's Herman dressed as Santa screaming. And
yes, but I look at the DVD cover, and if you were like just walking by like at Walmart, you would see this DVD cover and assume that it was a Christmas special from the original run.
Yeah,
like I feel like
it's not until once you see them in action, you're like, this is not my Herman Munster. This is not my Eddie Munster. Lily Munster is the only one that feels like the Lily Monster that I know and love.
Yeah, which good for her. Good for her, man. I think I'm done with the Munsters, like on this show. Like I think we talked exhaustingly long about the remake when it came out. Which I still say I really enjoyed that remake. Or I feel like if I would have saw it when I was a kid, I've said this multiple times. That would have become like a yearly Halloween watch for me if I had seen that as a kid. I will never, ever watch this again.
Yeah, it's truly a bummer that even the black and white Munsters doesn't have a Christmas special, because I'd love to watch a Munsters episode that I like.
Heck yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not in the cards for us. But maybe next October we'll try Addams Family.
Yes, put that in the books. Next October, we're gonna do the Addams Family Christmas special.
Maybe you won't be able to make it. Maybe Gomez will have to be my co-host for it.
That would be really fun. that would be a ton of fun, honestly, to do an entire episode in like a Spanish accent as Gomez. That'd be awesome.
Well, Dylan, you make my Christmas a little scary.
Aww. Don't get turned into fruitcakes out there. Hey.
Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, oh. Now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Have a happy holly, have a great, great, great holly, have a merry, 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 happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.